for sadness. Today he's resting inside his cave, a place that feels safe, where the world outside seems far away. Ted, as the part of us that carries sadness, often retreats to this cave when things feel heavy. The quiet and darkness help him sit with his feelings, to let them be without needing to fix or change them right away. Ted sits in the stillness, his paws resting on the cave floor, the cool stone grounding him. The quiet allows him to listen to the sounds inside of the cave, to his own breathing, and to the emotions that weigh on him. He's not rushing to feel better. He knows that his sadness needs time and space to breathe and to settle. Ted notices the worms, their tiny bodies slowly moving through the damp earth beneath him. They're quiet, patient, working their way through the soil, turning it over in their own rhythm. Ted watches them, and for a moment, he feels a connection to their slow, deliberate movements. His sadness is like the worms, something small, something that moves beneath the surface, always there, but not always seen. Ted, that sadness, like the earth, is always shifting, changing, even when it feels still. They move so slowly, but they're always working, always stirring the soil. Ted feels a sense of calm watching them. His sadness too is always shifting and always moving, even when he doesn't realize it. He doesn't need to rush the process, just like it works. He can let it take its time. Ted notices a small frog that has wandered into the cave. It moves slowly, its tiny body making barely a sound as it hops from one stone to the next. Ted watches the frog for a moment, his gaze soft as if the small creature offers him a kind of quiet companionship. The frog, like Ted's sadness, is gentle, slow, and not in a hurry to go anywhere. As Ted watches the frog, he feels a little less alone. The small creature, moving through the cave with such quiet grace, reminds Ted that even in sadness, there is life. Slow, steady, but present. The frog's small hops seem to echo the way Ted feels, moving in small, careful steps, carrying his sadness one moment at a time. The frog comes closer, and Ted reaches out his paw, stopping just short of touching it. He doesn't need to hold the frog, just like he doesn't need to hold onto his sadness too tightly. He's learning to be with it, to sit beside it, without needing to change or fix anything. The frog's presence is enough to remind Ted that his sadness can be soft, it can be gentle, knows that even these small moments, watching the frog, feeling its presence, are enough to ease the heaviness he carries. He doesn't need to chase it. Just like his sadness, he lets it be free to move in its own time. From outside the cave, Ted hears the distant sound of an owl. Its low, soft hoot reaches into the cave, like a gentle reminder of the world beyond. Ted pauses, listening to the owl's call. It's a sound that feels ancient and steady, something that's always been there, watching over the night. The owl's call seems to wrap around Ted's sadness, offering him a sense of comfort in the dark. Message to Ted's sadness, a reminder that the night will pass, that even in darkness there is a voice to guide him through. Ted listens, feeling the sound settle into his chest. The owl, the frog, the worms. They're all small reminders that he's not alone. is with him, always moving and always present. Nature is with him, always moving, always present, holding him through this quiet moment. Ted breathes deeply, letting the cool air of the cave fill his lungs. He knows his sadness is still there, still part of him, but it feels softer now. The sounds of the cave, the presence of the creatures around him, they've all helped Ted remember that sadness doesn't have to be something heavy to carry. It can be held gently, like the owl's call, echoing through the night. Ted sits back, resting his head against the cold stone wall of the cave. The owl's call continues outside, steady and constant, like a lullaby for his sadness. Ted closes his eyes for a moment, letting the sounds of the cave and the forest hold him. He knows that sadness is just one part of him, and that even in the stillness, there is movement, there is life. For now, Ted rests. The frog has moved on. The worms continue their slow journey through the earth. And the owl keeps watch outside the cave. Ted, as our sadness, finds peace in this moment, in the simple, quiet presence of the creatures around him, in the way the night holds him gently, and in the